Oh, baby, we have just got done doing a meditation in the pool. Believe it or not, dunking the head, doing a little swimming, and like a 10-minute meditation on an app called Soothing Pod, talking about the itakui. Not itakui, but some Japanese term that means finding your purpose. And the purpose we are doing right now, being myself, is getting better every single day. Little steps. Talked about in a book called Atomic Habits. Many people would have heard about that, by James Clear, and just improving day on, day out. So whether it be in the world of tech or a professional pursuit, relationship, family, I guess the spiritual aspect, and health and fitness. What I'm doing right now for health and fitness is mainly calisthenics. Well, I haven't been doing too much of that, but more so practicing ayuno, being fasting for at least anywhere from 13 to 16 hours a lot of times every day, and I quite enjoy that because it just helps with energy level and focus. And that's the focus right now. Santa Rosa De Cabal development. You can see in the background there's some property being worked on. So this afternoon, my girlfriend and myself are going to Paisa again to do some chores. So I'll show a little footage of that and get back to showing some screencasts of programming. Ciao for now. It's Saturday night. Alright, welcome senores to my week 12 documentation of the Hack Reactor coding bootcamp. One could say, why coding? Because as of recently, over the past 6 months, the whole evolution of different technology being AI related, AI generation of images, text, all these numerous different AI companies coming online. Well, they've been around since 2017, 2018, but a lot of them really making headlines for what they're able to do right now in technology. And also to note, a recent article that I was reading that brought into light just how individuals with their own personal computers are now able to build and train their own models in a record amount of time, and the cost barrier is massively less, substantially less, about $100 max in order to generate the same amount of parameters that you're feeding your data. I'm talking several billion, if not more, and it's only a fraction of the cost compared to these big tech companies doing the same thing. I know later on, probably next couple of videos I do in the future, I'm going to reference this more because it's a field I really find fascinating, and certainly this is where the future is going to be heading. That said, week 12 marks finishing up a Module 2 project with a partner and our Module 2 assessment. So without further ado, let's go into the project this week. The project we did was a full back-end and front-end, but primarily back-end build-out. And yeah, the test, basically, it consists of exactly what I was talking about before my previous video for the practice test. And by the way, what you're seeing right now is the beautiful country of, where else? Colombia, because that's where I'm residing at the moment until end of July, where my girlfriend and myself are going to Spain, north of Spain. And looking forward to that, all the beautiful food we're going to have there. But also, enjoying time here in Colombia. I've been here in Colombia for almost 2 years now. Amazing to think about. But yeah, the test itself went good. It just covers Docker, React concepts, system architecture, messaging design. So whether you need to use a queue system, a pub sub system, or I'm forgetting the other one off the top of my head, but yeah, architecture related to microservice integration, and then solving Python, JavaScript functions, to name a bit. So yeah, all in all, good with the Module 2 exam. And for project-wise, let's pop up what we have for project. Let's actually exit out of this. So this is the repository I have for it. Did not have it up right away. Project beta. And this is the schematics or the design that myself and my partner did. If it does load, which it will load, there you go. Here we go, making it a little bit bigger. Okay, so we have a front-end component being React. Dun, dun, dun. And then we're gonna have 3 microservices. They're gonna magically show up right now. Boom. Okay. So like myself, I handled the sales microservice. My partner did the service microservice. And then for this project, we were actually already given the inventory microservice. And this is for like a car dealership management website or application. And this is where you have like different API calls. So we did this all through talking through API, different ports that are associated with that, and doing get and post to the front end. And just building our own models along the way. So without further ado, let's show a little bit of what the site looks like in the very end. Now, with myself and my partner, we did not really focus on all the front-end aspect. We just wanted to get the bare requirements when it comes to the front-end. So that's where you're going to see, well, right now I had to delete my database, so this will not be pre-populated, but I assure you, when I add it to my database, whether in this case the automobiles, the models, the manufacturers, the customers, salespeople, it all works. You're just gonna have to believe me. But I promise you it does work. And then we create our forms. So the creation, this is like a post. You have the get, post, the delete, and the put. So this is like a list of automobiles, which does show up when I add it. Just recently, over the past couple days, I did delete my database numerous times to fix issues, but I assure you it does work. So this is like what our final project looked like. And it's pretty cool. Other people in the class definitely went a bit further in the front-end design. We just focused on the back end. But this is about the farthest I got with front-end design with these buttons. They click in the finish and the cancel. When you click like finish, it does eliminate some of them. And it does tweak right here with the status. So that's pretty cool. But let's get into a little more diving into what this code looks like. So for example, we had 3 microservices. Let's just shrink everything down here. So we have 3 microservices: service, sales, inventory. I handled sales. So for example, when we open this up, we're going to have 2 files: API, which is normally what you see in like a Django layout. So like there's the project itself, where you're going to do like the overall like URLs for the project. You're going to have to add your apps to it in the settings, and also making sure like you have the cores headers, so you don't have any issues on the front end when you're doing like a get or a post request and getting messages in the developer console with errors. Shout out to J Balvin, by the way, in the background. The guy has so many billions of videos. He has several videos, and probably numerous videos with more than 1 billion views. So that's pretty impressive, I have to say, if you want to judge success off of the number of views. But in his case, that's pretty good. That's really good, given where he came from originally. I know, like, my girlfriend was telling me, off topic here, but my girlfriend was telling me when she was going to university in Medellin that oh boy, I hope it was J Balvin. I'm pretty sure it was J Balvin. J Balvin came to the school, like her university at the time, and he was not big at all as a musician, and people didn't really think much of him. But it's just really cool to see like the transformation people make from where they came from to what they can build and create for themselves through the value they create. Okay, so the main project. Now this is the app I did. In this case, it was the sales app portion, and notice it's built just like normally when we do like a Django backend project. So we start with like our models. Boom. So this is the models for the sales. Then let me just close my terminal here. Then from the models, we're then going to move on to registering the models in the admin, so we can look at it in the Django backend portion on whatever local port. I think this was like local port 8090. And then we're going to create out our view functions, numerous view functions. Actually, before I even did that, for my different models, doing like get, post, get, delete, put. That way I'm covering all the bases: the get, the post, the put, and the delete. Wow. The add your URLs, your API URLs, and also, this is important to do, encoders, because you actually could put the encoders in the views, but then everything just gets bunched up, and that's not good practice. Good practice is to separate out your encoders. Your encoders are there for when you receive JSON data, that you're able to process that data accordingly. So encoders are very important to do. Now, once we had all that good to go and gravy, we then had to move on to something a little new and I wasn't familiar with because I didn't remember it in the previous several weeks of Module 2, is our polar file. Our polar file is responsible for polling and making sure we can get updated data from another microservice if something happens. So it's like a communication line. Think of it that way. So in the polar.py, I had to address the automobiles API, which was in the inventory microservice. So this is always constantly polling, and anytime it detects a change in that microservice and this API, it'll automatically update and register that data so that it can show up in my sales. Okay, so once we did our section, so I did the sales section, my partner did the service section, we then moved on to the front end with React, and that was in the GHI folder, and organizing everything accordingly based off of sales, inventory, and service for the pages. The different pages we're generating. Now, of course, in React, you do like single page, I forget what the A stands for, but it's like spots. Single page application, that's what it stands for, single page applications. So the cool thing about this, you have like individual JavaScript files that are applicable to whatever the list or the form in this case that you need to generate, and you build everything off of like your app.js. So here we have everything routed out, so which page is going to, and then the respectable JavaScript files based off of the components, the use state, the use effect that we have going on. And some of these actually did get a little bit complex. For instance, this one, like this has like over 161 lines of code. Probably don't actually need that much lines of code. Well, this clearly I don't need that. But yeah, nonetheless, I remember I had like 6 seers helping me out on one little issue that we could not figure out, and it was purely off of like a syntax error. So that happens a lot too. But yeah, all in all, really good project from the standpoint of like learning more about like backend and understanding how you can do APIs. I know in like module 3, we're going from like RESTful APIs to using what's called fast APIs, and hence it's in the name fast APIs. It sounds like it's gonna be more efficient and more productive from that standpoint. Now let's transition to going from module 2. So start of module 3 happens tomorrow on a Monday. Shout out to a Monday, starting week 13. A little side project that I've been working on that took up a lot of my time over this past week for like stretch goals, and also like Friday and this weekend I should have actually already had it popped up here. I'm going to pop it up right now. Okay, Google Cloud API. What is it? Well, it allows me to do all these really cool things utilizing the power of Google, and of course there's many other services out there. But for example, I can use an API once I built the project on Google Cloud Platform to detect text and images, to detect handwriting and images, to detect where to do like crop hints. So like I'll click on this and it'll give you like a little picture briefly. So like for example, once I build out the front end component, I've already done the back end part. That's pretty cool, right? Like this technology is actually fairly old from that standpoint, given what's at now, but like it's just cool to learn how to do this and know that I'm capable of doing it. Another cool thing is like detect labels, for example. So when you upload a picture, you'll get returned what exactly is showing up in this picture based off of the train model that's applicable to the Google Cloud Vision. Another cool one, don't really know how accurate it'll be because you have to really probably pinpoint well-known landmarks, but you can upload a picture of like a landmark and then you can get returned the GPS coordinates of what that landmark, well first what that most likely that landmark is based off like a score percentage, and then the GPS coordinates. So when you build like the back end or the front end, you can show like the image uploaded, and then once you get like a percentage of score, in this case like 78%, it's most likely St. Basil's Cathedral in Russia. Then you tie in the location using whether it's Google Maps or another API for maps, which is pretty cool. So I just want to show you a little briefly. I built out all the APIs, and that took a while to figure out how to do, but nonetheless figured it out, and very what's the word? Very useful skill, API. I know when I was just looking at like levels.fyi or levels.io, I think that's what it is, a resource for documenting like what currently software engineers or other people in tech in different positions are listing their salaries, right? And I know as of today, and I think about it, like an individual who's only had like a year or two of industry experience got an outrageous salary of, well, not an outrageous salary, but he just the person got a salary of like $200,000 for LinkedIn, and it was like a software engineer, but it specifically said like API development or design or something like that. So it just also highlights the importance of knowing how to utilize architecture-wise and how to implement APIs. So thus, let me show you what I have so far. So all these APIs are going to be triggered through photos that I've uploaded to my code itself. And actually a real cool one that I uploaded was the handwriting. Let's actually test it out first. So this is my own handwriting. I wrote, my name is Xander and I was born in Anchorage, Alaska. Now, take that image, And let's go to the appropriate function here, which I believe is going to be detect handwriting. Cool thing is, so I'm going to call this function with that image that I just showed you. And it will be able to detect exactly what I wrote, because I wrote clearly too. That's also very vital to make sure you're writing clearly in these images, because they've only been tested with so much data. But check this out, what I'm going to get for response based off of this API call that I did and how I structure the code. Boom. So with this image that you just saw, right, it's detecting the percentage, the score for each letter, and then returning that letter, or I could say like symbol. So let's do like a little bigger screen here. So it's confident that it's a paragraph, right? Now, it sorts it, let's actually go down to word text here. So for example, the first like word text it detects is my, and like the symbol M, it's pretty, that's like 90% confidence M, 98% confidence of Y, and then like going forward. And then you can see here, it registered what I wrote accurately. Now it gives different scores, but nonetheless, my name is Xander. Although Xander, I had to do this actually several times, I'm not gonna lie. It actually originally thought this was a K, so I then made it like really clear that's an X. But regardless, that's really cool that I've been able to learn that and just seeing where I go with that, and just building out like a little side project for displaying how you can utilize this technology. I think it's pretty cool. And yeah, this is like ground level, not ground level, but it's like top surface level of just what you're capable of doing when you understand how to like use individuals' APIs through their documentation they provide. If it's good documentation, like Google in this case was good documentation to work with. Let's check out some other ones too. I know, for example, I can do a face one, right? So face detection. So you upload this image. What I'm going to get back in return is going to be coordinates. For this face. And so when I do like the front end, I can actually like build a box that'll register based off of those coordinates. And rather than just me say it, let's show it in action. So check this out. Okay, Python, boom. And I'm gonna do one more, but all these do work, which is really cool. It took like 2 days to figure it out. Now it would be a lot faster, but I got it figured out. So also the cool thing about like the detect face is not only does it give me like coordinates X, Y, Z, but on top of that, it does bring in some like emotions. Like for the example, the picture we just saw, he's not wearing headwear, so it's very unlikely he's wearing headwear. But for example, like sorrow, likelihood, unlikely. Joy, likelihood, unlikely. What is he likely about? I don't think it actually registers a likely. Very unlikely, very unlikely. So his face is not anger, it's joy, surprise. But here you go, face bounds. This is what I was talking about. Like it gives coordinates based on that picture of where to dot a square to make out the face. So I would use these coordinates on the front end to be able to place a box around this face when you upload it. So that's kind of basically how like face detection works from that standpoint. The last one I do want to show is really cool because the idea I had originally was just to upload a picture of a car on the car dealership website, and then upon doing that, I would be able to detect using this Google Cloud Vision API the name of the car, and then tie into another API that the model and the year to then pull accurate data, sales history data, market value data. And after going down that route, I'm able to fairly do it. But the only issue is I ran into is now pretty much all the APIs I could find were I was searching by model and year. I had to pay for those APIs to get the market value. There was one I found for free, a free trial that would allow me to search by VIN number, and that's not applicable to the project I was going about because it's just like a random picture of a car. But regardless, the cool thing about web entities is I can upload a picture of, I guess I got rid of the Hummer one. I had a Hummer one originally. But for example, this monkey, right? No idea what type of monkey this is, but we're going to find out what type of monkey this is by executing this code. It's always funny to say execute. It's like I'm killing the code. That's not true. By running this code, that's probably proper grammatical English. So when I run this code, I'm calling that picture that I just showed you, this monkey. There's the code right here. It's quite long in depth. The cool thing about this, though, is it's going to give me the likelihood of what type of monkey that is based off of the API searching the entire web for this picture that I just showed you. And it's covered up here right now as I'm speaking. This picture, which upon looking at the data that just got back. So first, it's going to present 10 pages with matching images found, which that's pretty wild, right? Then you can get 10 links suggested where that picture was used, which leads me to think how like the technology works for like, there's this one website that you can upload like pictures of yourself, and it'll search for like your face and where your face has been like found on the internet, essentially, both by like your consent as well as not your consent. It's posted, and you can actually, like, with I guess privacy policies, or not privacy policies, but like with your request, you can actually get taken down those pictures of you, which is a pretty cool service. I imagine this is a little bit of how it's working in the back end, but probably a lot more deeper than that. On top of that, besides you getting like suggested 10 pages with matching images found, you're also getting the 10 web entities found. So this is where it's classified and it's labeling what that picture is, and with a score. So like the highest score here you're getting based off how it's organized, a Diana monkey. And I promise you that's exactly what this is. What this is a Diana monkey, if I'm saying that correct. A Diana monkey, which is like one of the rarest monkeys, I believe, that exist. I also did this like project with my mom, where I called my mom up once I got this API working. I was like, Mom, send me a random picture of a dog that's like really specific in breed, and I have no idea what it is when I looked at it. So she sent me the picture. I then downloaded the picture, put it in my code, ran it, and then I was able to 100% accurately say what exactly the type of dog breed was based off running this code. So that's pretty cool, just the power of that. And yeah, you just open your door more and more to like what you can do once you're able to work with APIs effectively. And yeah, this is what I was originally referencing back to how I was going to use like the car data, like I upload a picture of a car, and this is how I'd be able to like pull like the model. And when I was doing this, I used like a Hummer, and it pulled like the year too, which is pretty cool. Like if we ran like the Mercedes, not the Mercedes-Benz, the Escape, we can run the Escape, for example, and call that. That's the last thing I'll do here, and then I'll cut this video out because then else I'm just going to keep talking. Here we go. Okay, so this is going to be Escape, and then I think this is going to come back with like the year 2019 or 2018 Ford Escape. We can only hope that this is the picture we are now running for the code. And look here, what are we going to get? We are going to get with a high accuracy 2013, which is actually not accurate, but it still is going in the right direction. Got Ford Escape right. The year is off. I'm pretty sure when I searched for this image, it was like well, that one says 2017, but it was like 2017 or 2018. I mean, like, my goodness, like all of these pages matching image found says 2017. So most likely it's 2017, which is very odd because it's the highest score is 2013. Huh. Nonetheless, cool. So yeah, looking forward to building upon more of this technology with the API. We'll finish up with just more videos of Colombia. Yeah, just like little side things did this week. We went to Finca Del Cafe again with Alaska friends and like other friends and my girlfriend's uncle. So I'll just show like a little footage of that. I don't think I took too much. And yeah, this Tuesday we're heading out to New York, so looking forward to that. We're only gonna be there for like 4 days around 4 days. Really quick, short business trip. And yeah, looking forward to starting module 3. This is where we get in a group of like 4 to 5 people, and we're working on for the entire module for about 5 to 6 weeks, a group project from the start to the finish, and getting a minimal viable project to work. And we're definitely bringing a lot of APIs. And the main thing is that we're all in my group, future group, don't know who's going to be my group, but we're on the same page as like being interested in a project we're all going to be working on, and we're intrigued by it and creating something that way. And yeah, just continue studying the industry, different courses, the technology out there, whether it's in like AI, cybersecurity, just goes endless and endless, and tracking a little bit of the news, but not getting like too caught up in news developments in the tech world, software engineer world, AI world, although AI is really fascinating for what's being done. Yeah, just cut it off there. Thank you so much for watching. As always, Xander signing out from Colombia, soon to be in España, soon to be in New York, soon to be in Alaska, soon to be somewhere else in the world. Yeah, thank you as always for watching. If you have any questions, please give me a shout. Send me a message. I'm more than happy to respond back with perspective and assistance. Sayonara for now. Xander is over now. Week 12 is in not the book, because we don't really use a book. We use a laptop. Ciao for now. We're just going to close the laptop and see what happens. Peace.
Ve, nos hubieran llevado el plato.
La pasta.
Me fascina la sala, pero no le pongo ensalada de ninguna.